Hey, this is Dustin Neely from Church Planning for the Rest of Us, and as promised, I wanted to do a short video post, oddly enough, about the iPad and how I use it for ministry. And the first thing I want to show you is actually this case that I have. I mean, it's kind of a brick, but I've got 4 little kids, and I need to protect this thing because it is an investment, so I sprung the extra money and got the OtterBox. And this is the thing that's like hard plastic, and then it's rubber, and then you got this thing that goes on the front that also turns into like a keyboard stand. I think it'll cost you about $50 from Mac Mall, but it's a worthy investment that will help you do your job. So, speaking of your job, let me tell you about some of the apps that I use regularly that are a big help to me. The first and most important is this little app called iAnnotate PDF. iAnnotate PDF. And what it allows you to do is just what it sounds like. It allows you to upload PDFs, and then you can actually use your finger to either highlight or draw on it or do underscore or strike out. I mean, it's really an amazing program. It will sync through Dropbox. It will also sync through a couple of little apps that come with it that allow you to do so. But that is a tremendous app. I think it was $10. I use it to preach off of, and I can make changes in my manuscript between the services. I mean, all these different helpful things come from iAnnotate PDF, and I highly commend it to you. Also, some of the ones that are obvious and free, the ESV HD app, it's really helpful and lets you scroll. You can use it like crazy. Kindle app also syncs to the Kindle app on your iPhone if you have one of those. Also syncs to the Kindle app on your Mac, which is phenomenal to be able to be waiting on somebody and reading a book, and then you go home and voila, there it is on the same place. Another free app that's really helpful for those of you guys who have Logos. I have Logos on here. It's great stuff. Another great free app is Dragon Dictation. I highly recommend the Dragon Dictation for your computer, and this is in the same family. It's made by the same company. It's not as good as the desktop or laptop edition, but it is still strong, and I use it every day. Actually, when I'm writing in my journal, I will dictate as my journal, and it's super helpful. A couple more free apps, and then we'll move on to some more paid ones. Netflix. If you have Netflix at home, this allows you to do Netflix streaming. It is phenomenal. My kids and I use this thing all the time. And then the final freebie that I got to tell you about is called Evernote. And if you don't know about Evernote, let me bring you into the truth. It is one of the greatest programs in the history of the world. It is a one-stop shop for all of your notes. I put sermon notes in here when I'm working on things. You can take pictures. If you have an iPad too, you can take them right on there. If you have an iPhone, you can take the pictures on there. It's all cloud-based, so it allows it to sync up. I mean, it's absolutely phenomenal. You can also have a Mac app for that now, so if you don't have this, go get it right now. That's called Evernote. Now, some of the ones that we paid for, there's a really good to-do app called ToodleDo. It's kind of a silly name, but it's a great program. It allows you to put in to-dos. You can star them. You can also put recurring to-dos, which is an important thing if you have certain tasks that come up every day, every week. I also have another task list that I use for my assistants and other people helping me do research and things on the blog and that kind of stuff. It's called Gtasks Pro, which syncs with Google Tasks, and it allows you to pull all that stuff together. And like a lot of these other programs like Evernote and these other things, it's cloud-based, so you don't have to sync it by plugging in your computer. It just goes over Wi-Fi, and it does it. Let me also tell you a couple others that are really helpful. The guys at Desiring God just came out with a great app called the Fighterverse app. This has been probably one of the most helpful tools for memorizing scripture to me that I've ever run across. I mean, it allows you to, here's the verse of the day, and then it'll give you a little quiz to fill in the blanks. You can listen to the verse. You can read commentaries on the verse. I think it's like $3 or $4, and it's worth its weight in gold. Absolutely. Also, Google Readers on here. I use that a lot every day. There's another one that I really want to call your attention to as well called Penultimate. I think it's a couple of bucks or something like that, and it allows you to actually write on there. I don't know if you can see that, but I'm writing on there, and then it'll save all those. Fantastic app if you want to actually use your finger or a stylus to make longer notes and even draw pictures. My kids love to do that. It's great stuff. Now, there's some other apps that Mac puts out that you guys are probably already aware of. like Keynote is on here, and you can use it to make presentations. Pages is on here. Both of those I think are $5 or $10 a piece. Those are also good. There's an app that I use to print called Print Central that's really helpful. And here's a couple of quirky ones that you guys might not know about. I have one called Speech Prompter, which I think is $10, and you can actually use this as a teleprompter. So you can pull a little Barack Obama here and script out everything and just follow it around. Now that you're probably not going to do, but if you were recording like podcasts and you needed to follow a script and not turn pages, you could even use this for preaching. That app is extremely helpful. Speech Prompter is what that's called. There's also another one. This one again is kind of quirky, but it's a lot of fun. That's called iPDF to Speech. And so you can actually upload PDFs into this program and then it will speak them out. Believe it or not, I actually used this the other day. There was somebody who'd written a long blog entry that I wanted to read. I had to take a little trip, so I loaded it, and this one syncs to your phone too. Loaded it onto my phone just from copying and pasting from their website. And while I was sitting in the drive-thru line at this restaurant waiting to get my food, I listened to that blog entry, and then when I was driving down the road, I was able to finish it. So that's called iPDF to Speech, and that might help you as well. There's a couple of more classics like iBooks. You guys know what to do with that. It's a great PDF reader. If you use Planning Center Online, that's a really great app to have because it's got all your stuff there. If you'd like to record your ideas, you can use Evernote to do that. But when I record longer things, for example, we just had a men's ministry meeting the other night, and I recorded my teaching on that on an app called Voice Memos, or you can use the thing on your iPhone that does that. You can record that and then sync that up and then decide what you want to do with it later. One final app that I use with good success is called Ambiance. Yeah, that's right, Ambiance, and it allows you to listen to different white noise. I've told you about this one before for a Mac app. It's really helpful, and if you're trying to work in a noisy place, that's a good thing to do. So those are some of the apps that I like the most. Then of course there's all kinds of games. I mean, we could go on forever about games. There's 27 different versions of Angry Birds now, I think. My kids know how to play all of them and they love them. So if you've not been exposed to Angry Birds, you should do it. There's other social media things like Twitter. There's coloring books for your kids. They love that. And then of course there's some great racing games and then all of the other features that the iPad usually has. So it is a great help. The iPad has been very helpful to me in ministry. I tell people this all the time. Not everybody needs to run out and buy an iPad for obvious reasons. It's $500 minimum. But I think pastors can get a lot of mileage out of that. So I hope this helps you. And in my next post, we'll talk about the difference between the iPad 1 and the iPad 2.